Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you two cool custom busts that I made for somebody. This right here is a Bloodstorm, which is Storm from X-Men comic books. It's an alternate version of Storm where she was a vampire. I think what it was is back in the day, there was a time when Storm became a vampire. Either it was a what if or it was part of like canon at one point, but then I think as time went on, she's an alternate version of Storm, and I think she was like in Exiles or something. I think that's what I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Someone could correct me in the comments. This is a Joseph X-Men statue, which is actually Magneto. I think it was a clone of Magneto, if I'm not mistaken. The little history I know about him is I remember at one time Magneto had amnesia. I didn't remember who he was. I think it was after, a little bit after Wolverine got his claws taken out, maybe. I kind of forget. And he became a good guy. He was with the X-Men for a while. They sort of didn't trust him, of course. And then at one point when they pretty much found out he was a clone, he sacrificed himself to reset the magnetism of the planet Earth because something was wrong with it. So he used his powers and he sacrificed himself and he fixed it all. So that's kind of what I remember from Joseph of Magneto. If I'm wrong, you could kind of correct me in the comments as well. But I sort of remember these characters from back in the day when I used to read X-Men comic books every week. So it's kind of fun to work on these obscure characters. So the way these came about is somebody that I work a lot of busts for. I've done a couple videos of some of his collection in the past. I've done a lot of his Age of Apocalypse stuff, some other random X-Men characters. What he does is he goes out to like eBay, conventions, either people selling collections, and he hunts down broken or cheap busts, and he's making all these characters from Marvel comic books of, he has this really great display of all these different obscure characters that are never going to see the light of day. So he just hunts down, cheap old busts, whether it's a Bowen bust, Dynamic Forces, previews of all DC Direct, all these different busts. He's making all these characters. So these were kind of cool to kind of work on for him. So this one right here from Joseph, this is actually a Namor Bowen Designs bust. It was pretty straightforward. All I really did was strip down the paint on both of them. I sculpted out the outfit first. I worked out the belt with the X symbol there. I worked out the gloves, and then I sculpted the hair. Because Joseph's got this really flowy, bushy hair. That's kind of what he had at the time. And then this right here is a Age of Apocalypse Phoenix bust that I chopped out the hair, rebuilt the skull, and then pretty much filled up the lines of her outfit, sculpted the whole outfit on her, gave her the jacket, the collar, the pants with all the jeans and stuff, the X symbol, and then I sculpted out the hair with, I gave her the mohawk and then her big flowing hair in the back, added earrings at the end. Now, as far as paintwork goes, it's pretty straightforward. He's just his regular old, yellow and blue X-Men outfit from back in the day. We left the base alone, and he decided that since Joseph had those powers that were kind of like blue and white powers he would use, we just kind of painted up the base like those powers, and just fairly simple, straightforward custom. For her, I suggested, I said, since she's a vampire, why don't we just give her a little bit extra? So at the end of working on this, we took out the AOA symbol that was here, and I chiseled out a Storm symbol, like her earrings, because it's kind of like a throwback to the lightning bolt of her earrings. And then after that, we used epoxy, and we dripped epoxy over it, mixed in with red, and made it look like blood dripping down. So it's kind of a throwback that she is a vampire and she does use blood. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward customs. I mean, if you really are into the hobby and you want to make an obscure character and really kind of like, you really don't want to drop like crazy amounts of money and buy a 1/4 statue, you could kind of go out there and find these cheap busts, whether it's Bowen Designs, DC Direct, Dynamic Forces. I mean, there's just tons of old busts out there that are just cheap on eBay, whether they're damaged or just cheap in general, or even at conventions sometimes they got these things cheap. You could pick up one and you could chop it up and kind of make something out of it and get a little bit of practice. Or maybe you're into busts and you really want to create a team, you can find all these other busts out there and you can make a team out of them. Or if you really, really want to go crazy and you like the bust and you know how to sculpt, or you have a damaged full-size statue, sometimes Bowen Designs legs of a full-size will actually fit a bust as well, and you could do swap outs and stuff. So that's pretty much straightforward. A little bit of a two bust, setup. I figured I'd do one video to show both of them because it's a fairly cool little thing to see both of them done at the same time. Usually we do it in pairs. It's a little bit easier to kind of like get two busts at a time and put them together. But there you go. That is Bloodstorm and Joseph Magneto. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.